Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. What an absolute honor it is to be in conversation with one of the most inspirational business leader of our times. An overnight success that has only been 33 years in the making. A company that is truly at the vanguard of civilizational progress. Jensen, thank you firstly so much for being with us here this evening.
Thank you. Delighted to be here. Thank you for the great welcome, the wonderful welcome.
Great. I'll start with a really core technological question. How is your jacket holding up in the Mumbai heat?
It's fine, thank you. I enjoy the heat. It was wonderful.
You said recently that AI is ushering in a new industrial revolution. Could you give us a broad overview of in what manifest ways is it going to change how we live and work?
Well, AI has revolutionized several things. First, it has reinvented computing. From coding, programming, to machine learning. From software to artificial intelligence. From software running on CPUs to now neural networks running on GPUs. And so the three fundamental computing stacks that underlies computing has been reinvented. That's a technology perspective. From an industrial perspective, there's something that is being manufactured that is fundamentally new. We're now producing something at scale in high volume that has never been produced before. That's the reason why I call it an industrial revolution. In fact, if you take a step back and think about where India plays in the role of the world's industries, India today manufactures software at scale. And for the very first time, we're going to produce intelligence at scale. Not software, but intelligence. Intelligence is going to be in the form of numbers. We call them tokens. When constituted in different ways, turns into words, images, videos, maybe even chemical compounds for drugs, or amino acids and proteins, or even physics to predict weather. And so these numbers, we call them tokens, are going to be produced at extremely high volumes. And these, as a result of that, there's a new industry. This new industry is going to be powered by new factories. And of course, we're really grateful to be manufacturing the computers, to create the computers that are inside these factories. But by converting energy through this new factory, we call them AI factories, we will produce intelligence. This is completely brand new, an industry that has never existed before. And so in a lot of ways, everything that we're talking about now is unimaginable until now.
You're very bullish on some of the big applications of your technology. Autonomous cars are about them, robotics are about them. Now that you have experienced India's traffic, can Nvidia make chips that can enable autonomous driving in India?
Well, if somebody can conquer autonomous driving in India, you can be assured that autonomous driving will be solved everywhere in the world. Of course, we also know that autonomous vehicles use the wrong sensors for India. Cameras are obviously insufficient. You can't use computer vision. You need sonar, and because here in India you have to honk. And
military grade.
You drive by sound, not by sight. You can close your eyes and drive in India.
Some military grade autonomous driving that will be.
Unbelievable grade, yeah.
Just to step back into NVIDIA's incredible trajectory, you started investing in the in the CUDA platform back in 2007 or so, and for years afterwards, Wall Street analysts, pundits used to ask you, where is the ROI on this? Why are you making such heavy investments and so on? And it wasn't clear up until say 2012 or 13 how core this was becoming to all the developments relating to AI. What gave you the conviction? What is the source of your conviction to continue investing in the software platform?
Well, on first principles, you have to believe in what you believe, and at the core of our company, we believe that a general purpose processor, a general purpose instrument, can't possibly be good at everything. And whereas in the beginning of a new a new technology revolution like the microprocessor, the rate of progress was so great that the general purpose CPU was good enough in the sense that it was doubling every single year anyways. And if it's doubling in performance every year, that's surely good enough. But we felt that there are many problems in computing where the general purpose sequential processing capability of the CPU wasn't the right fit, that we should create the right tools for the right job. And there are many algorithms that could be offloaded from the CPU, the sequential processor, to be accelerated using a parallel processor. Now, we believe that in the very beginning, and we believe that today. And if you believe in something, unless some fundamental new insight were to change your belief, there's no reason to change your belief. And so I think to this day, we believe that there are many problems that accelerated computing can solve that CPUs can't. And unless somebody changes your belief system, you have to continue to pursue what you pursue. And so we pursued it for about 33 years now. And finally our day has come. And so.
Could you tell us a little bit about how much of a difference, this co-development of, your software helping optimize the hardware, how much of that was integral to the acceleration of your technology?
Well, the computing model that we invented is called accelerated computing, and it sits next to the CPU. It doesn't replace the CPU. The things that are sequential continues to run on the CPU, but the things that could be accelerated in parallel acceleration, parallel processing, could be offloaded. The benefit of our approach is that you could change the software algorithm and the processor at the same time. And we call it co-design. Co-design allows us to change every aspect, the algorithms, the processor, but the challenge, of course, is that then you also have to change the applications. And so it's taken us 3 decades because you can't just put a GPU in a system and all of a sudden everything gets faster. You have to actually change the software applications on top. It is the reason why so many of our endeavors requires a brand new software stack. And so NVIDIA is in a lot of ways really a computer algorithm company, and we have to go understand digital biology in order to be beneficial to drug discovery. We have to invent new fluid dynamics algorithms in order to be useful in computer-aided engineering. We had to invent brand new algorithms for computer graphics in order for NVIDIA to contribute to video games and such. And so in each one of these industries that we serve, we had to invent new architectures in our chip, new algorithms in the software, and work with the companies in the ecosystem to adopt our algorithms. That's the reason why it's taken so long. But the incredible benefit is that the result is not anything that anybody's ever seen. We can introduce new algorithms that are 100 times faster than what was possible before. Imagine that you created a car or a plane or anything, and it's 100 times faster than what was previously possible. It's almost like traveling at the speed of light. It's almost like time travel. And I still remember a scientist once reached out to me, and I went to see his lab. And he said to me that because of Nvidia's work, because of my work, he's able to do his life's work in his lifetime. It's like time travel. You know, it's when you reinvent computing in this way, unbelievable things could be done. To the point where recently, computer scientists imagined that because of the extraordinary speed that we were able to enable, which in the world of computing, when you speed applications, it's exactly the same as reducing the cost of computing. They're cousins of each other. We've reduced the marginal cost of computing in the course of the last 10 years by 100,000 times, to the point where researchers said to themselves, why don't we take all of the data in the world, take all of human knowledge, take all of the entire corpus of human knowledge and give it to the computer and let the computer figure out where the knowledge is. What is the knowledge that's represented inside by learning the patterns and relationship of every single piece of information that it was able to learn, basically machine learning, or what we now call large language models. That wouldn't have been possible if not for the fact that the marginal cost of computing has been driven down to practically zero in what we do. Yeah, it's really quite an extraordinary thing.
One of the things, one of the areas that the rise of Gen AI has seriously disrupted is coding itself. You know, India, as you know, is a major tech powerhouse. Our software services exports is a very large industry, employs a lot of people. How prepared should we be for disruption in this sector in terms of low-level coding being very rapidly getting disrupted?
Well, the future of programming is going to be very different. We will do less programming of the computer and do more programming of the AI. Right now, you and I are programming each other.
Right.
We're programming each other by you give me a question. In the context of artificial intelligence, we call that prompts. You prompt me, you query me, and I generate information back to you. And I think that way of interacting with computers is going to be quite normal in the future. And the idea of programming explicitly, telling a computer exactly what we want, is going to be less, and then letting the computer know what we intend and what we like to achieve will be more popular. And so we'll do less coding and do more prompting. This is an extraordinary time for India for several reasons. It was already mentioned in the previous speech that India has one of the world's largest digital ecosystems and an enormous population of computer literate engineers. This is just an extraordinary opportunity for India to reinvent itself from a back office IT cost reduction industry to a front office AI driven innovation ecosystem. And I was so inspired by all the companies that I met while I was here. The energy around artificial intelligence and the literacy and the capability that has been developed here in the last year, just the last year alone. Infosys and Wipro and TCS and the companies that I met, the work that they're doing in agentic AI in the leading edge of artificial intelligence is really quite extraordinary. You know, AI is not going to replace humans anytime soon. You know, there's not one piece of artificial intelligence that can replace 100% of somebody. But it is the case that everyone can take advantage of artificial intelligence to elevate our capabilities. And so think of it as a tool that elevates our abilities to make us all superhuman. And I think that understanding pervades India today. You know, everybody that I see, the number of startups here, the understanding of the opportunity of artificial intelligence, the energy that's here is really quite extraordinary. And so I'm excited about the opportunity for India. A third of Nvidia is here in India. Somebody mentioned that most of the letters of our company spells India. And in a lot of ways, NVIDIA's senior leadership is Indian. NVIDIA's a third of our engineers are here. And we've been in Bangalore for almost 25 years. India designs NVIDIA's chips, writes NVIDIA softwares, designs NVIDIA systems, and develops a lot of NVIDIA's algorithms. And so this ecosystem, this country has such incredible skills in this area. I've got a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of hope that artificial intelligence gives this industry a brand new reinvention, and quite exciting, in fact.
Yeah, I think it's quite remarkable that out of 33 years of NVIDIA, you've been in India for 25 years. That's rather remarkable. And you know, as you said, NVIDIA's senior leadership is here. A lot of amazing work already happening. What can you tell us, Jensen, about what more do you intend to do here?
The aspiration, the vision, the ambition to elevate yourself from a IT cost reduction industry, from a labor outsourcing industry, to become an artificial intelligence production industry. I think you've got to pursue that with all of your might. I was talking to some of the CEOs in the industry today, and when you're fundamentally a IT outsource, IT labor cost reduction industry, the only way to improve yourself is to reduce that cost. You don't want to be a cost reduction industry. You want to be a revenue growth industry. You want to be an industry where when you're sleeping, you're still making money. And it's hard to do that when your business model is by the hour. And I'm excited by the fact that the leadership here recognizes the extraordinary opportunity in front of you. There's no reason that the fundamental intelligence of this country is not encoded in intelligence that could be manufactured at scale. Every aspect of artificial intelligence, the natural resources are here. The digital economy is here, so you have lots and lots of data. You have deep understanding of computer science. You have deep understanding of computing. You have massive resources. And in order to be in the artificial intelligence industry, to manufacture intelligence, you need energy. You need data, and you need the computer science expertise. All three exist right here. And I remember fondly the first time I spoke to Modi ji about artificial intelligence. And he had a great deal of curiosity about what it is that I did for a living, and what is artificial intelligence, and how could you manufacture intelligence. And I spoke to him about AI, and at the end of it, he said something that's profoundly wise. He said that India should not export flour and import bread. you should export bread. The flour is the natural resource of your country. The natural resource of your country is the data, not just the land. The data of India belongs to India. It's your natural resource. The data of India encodes the knowledge of your people. Of course, it's the language and the history, but it also encodes your knowledge and your culture. It belongs to you. There's no reason to let anyone else harvest that, process that, and turn it into something of value called intelligence, digital intelligence. You could do it yourself. And he also said something. He said that India should own our own AI cloud, meaning that the AI infrastructure, the processing infrastructure, the factories, we call them AI factories. The AI factories is part of your national infrastructure, just like energy, just as roads, communications. All of those networks should be built here, and it should be part of the national infrastructure. And his understanding of it was quite inspiring to me, quite impressive to me. And when I come to India, I've had the opportunity to update him several times on the progress of artificial intelligence, and you could tell that he is homed in on this idea that AI could lift the nation, that AI in the hands of all of its population can lift the population. And the example that we spoke about was agriculture. The vast majority of the country is in the industry of agriculture. And if we could put AI in the hands of farmers so that the understanding, the capability of precision pest control, pest management, the use of AI to enhance crop yield and make better predictions of the weather and the yield of crops, that it could lift the productivity of the people. And so I think in a lot of ways, whether it's national will, the inherent capability, of this industry, of the IT industry, and also the digital economy that you've already created over so many years, the ingredients are ripe. The ingredients are here for you to take advantage of this AI revolution.
So you would say India should store data locally, and your prescription, a lot of your success comes from you having seen where the puck is going rather than playing where it is now, and therefore your message to India's homegrown IT industry would be to see where it is going and then sort of get on with the transformation at double speed.
Manufacture AI, lead the AI revolution. Yeah.
Wonderful. Jensen, it's easy to forget at this point because of Nvidia's stupendous, stratospheric success, how hopeless a startup it was back in the day when you started. There was a time in your company when you would start your meeting saying,
I've threatened to go out of business many times.
And the saying was, our company is 30 days from going out of business. So the boss is starting the meeting, the first line is, our company is going out of business in 30 days. From that, you've come to a point where recently concerns have been raised internally that many Nvidia employees, thanks to the rise of the stock price, are so wealthy, some of their companions feel that they're becoming a bit complacent. Having seen this journey, what is a greater motivator? Is it fear or ESOPs?
There are several ways to think through that. If I could just take that question seriously. First, I woke up this morning thinking the company could be 30 days from going out of business, and that hasn't changed.
This morning?
Sure. Yeah.
It's a $3 trillion company, by market value. as you surely know.
The, no one in technology should ever feel too comfortable. Technology changes incredibly quickly, as you know, and artificial intelligence is the single largest industry that the world has ever known. And the reason for that is because intelligence is the largest industry the world ever known. And so it's natural that we have a lot of competitors, and so we have to make sure that we don't take our position for granted. And of course, you know, we built everything from nothing, and so I know what it feels like to have nothing and to be nowhere, and those feelings don't leave you. You know, I grew up poor, and our company grew up poor, and I'm sure that there are many people in the audience who started from rather modest beginnings. When you start with modest beginnings, those feelings never leave you. I still, you know, I don't know about you, but I still enjoy leftovers, and but I enjoy leftovers for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row, the same leftovers, and you know, you could change the nationality of foods. You could start out with American food, but at the end of it, it's Chinese food. By just keep adding other ingredients to it, and so I think you want to stay modest as a person. You want to stay modest as a company. The other way to think about that is you might be surprised that for many of the employees in our company, they've been rich a very long time. It's not, I'm looking at a few employees right in front of me right now. They've been wealthy a very long time, and yet they worked incredibly hard that entire time. And
when you're talking about the person who's been wealthy for a very long time, presumably you're talking about Vishal.
yes, he's Vishal, and I can name many more that's sitting next to him. They've been wealthy a very long time. And so the question is, for what reason you were working in the first place? And if you're not working, I'm not working for the money. I'll be honest. I've been wealthy a very long time, and yet I work harder than ever. And so I think thank you. I think this young man is noticing that I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning because I thought I was 30 days from going out of business. Thank you for that. I could use it.
Jensen, having
Okay, we're fired up now.
Yes.
Let's go.
having taken a sip of sugar, AI needs a lot of energy as well. Can we talk a little bit about the energy? We are seeing big US tech companies taking, signing up deals for nuclear energy. What steps are Nvidia taking to make its own technology? What are the sustainability practices you are adopting? And what is the answer to say our own needs for energy? If, as India steps up into the AI era, we will need lots of energy as well. So where is it all going?
There's several ways to look at it. First, we need to reduce the energy. We need to increase the energy efficiency of our computing as fast as possible. And so we're driving the roadmap really, really hard. Every single year when we introduce something new, the energy efficiency increases by a factor of 2 or 3, sometimes 4 times. And so we're going to keep doing that. Another way of thinking about that is every single year that goes by, the amount of power that we use is going to be cut in half or a third, to a third every single year. The second thing is to realize that AI doesn't care where it goes to school. Whereas we need the power grid, we need the power close to our homes because we We need powers in our house. We need to charge the cars that are in our garage. But AI doesn't care where it goes to school. AI doesn't really need to be close to us. And so we could put the AI data centers near where we have excess energy. You know that the world has more energy than we use. Obviously, a lot more energy comes from the sun than is actually used. But we don't have excess power because people like to live in certain areas. And so we could move the data centers, build the data centers further away. And so that's another idea. And then third concept is to remember the goal of AI is not to train the models, which consumes a lot of energy. The goal of AI is to apply the models to be more efficient. Remember, give you one example. We could predict weather 1,000 times, 10,000 times more energy efficiently than using computers, simulators to predict weather. And so if we could teach an AI how to understand the laws of multi-physics, thermodynamics and fluid dynamics and convection and conduction and reflectivity and ice physics and ocean physics and land physics, cloud physics, if we could teach an AI those physics, then it could predict weather a lot more energy efficiently than simulating using principal solvers. And so that's one example. But the idea, it goes on and on and on. The goal is, of course, to use artificial intelligence to invent new ways of doing something a lot more efficiently. Net, however, I will tell you that the world will be a lot more productive in the future. We will be much, much more smart about using energy. However, my hope is that the amount of energy that we use for artificial intelligence increases as a percentage of total energy over time. And the reason for that is very simple. I hope that the production of intelligence is a very large industry. Because we all hope that we produce intelligence. The goal is not to produce cement. The goal is not to produce steel. The goal is to produce cement more smartly. Present a new type of material that could replace steel. Our goal is to be much more smart about agriculture so that we could do everything a lot more efficiently. And so my hope is that we end up using more energy for intelligence, less energy for cement, less energy for steel, less energy for sitting in traffic, less energy for all of those things that consume energy for no good reason.
Plus, if AI is any good, hopefully it will tell us one day how to solve nuclear fusion or other ways
Exactly.
where energy just becomes an...
Without artificial intelligence, fusion has no hope. Yeah.
You have said that you believe artificial general intelligence is maybe about 5 years away, depending on how you define it, etc. What happens after that? Do we enter an era that we cannot quite fathom? And are you concerned about effective regulation around the development of AGI?
Well, those two questions are related, not exactly the same. We should regulate AI. We should regulate AI in the context of every application. When you use artificial intelligence as an accountant, that accountant should be regulated. When you use artificial intelligence as a lawyer, that lawyer should be regulated. When you use artificial intelligence as a doctor, that doctor should be regulated. And so whether it's the FDA or the FAA or NHTSA or the EPA or you decide your favorite application in consumer protection, AI should be regulated in the context of its use. Your first question has to do with artificial general intelligence. My hope is that we will all be surrounded by super AIs, super intelligent people. And the question that people have for me is, what happens when you're surrounded by super intelligent AIs? Well, that's exactly my life. Remember, I'm surrounded by people who are far better at what they do than I do. I'm surrounded by lawyers that are better than I am, accountants that are better than I am, computer scientists that are better than I am, business people who are better than I am. I'm surrounded by super intelligent people, and yet I have no trouble working with all of them. And in fact, aren't you supposed to surround yourself with smart people? Smarter people than yourself? And why wouldn't you want to have assistants that are super intelligent at the skills that they do? It is very unlikely that we're going to have a piece of software that's super intelligent at everything. But having a piece of software, an AI that is super intelligent at chip design or super intelligent at software programming, of course that's going to happen. Super intelligent at supply chain management, of course that's going to happen. And we can't wait for that to happen. And we should be excited for that to happen. And then we could use these AIs to work with us as a team member so that we can solve important problems.
I'm keen to get your prescription for India in negotiating the era of AI. We touched upon this a little bit.
In negotiating with?
The era of AI. How?
Oh, in the era of AI.
We're of course very excited about the possibilities, but apprehensive of its implications on jobs. Can AI help societies like India solve fundamental challenges around poverty and development? Should countries be starting to think about universal basic income?
Let me give you one perspective. As you know, the vast majority of Indians do not know how to program a computer. The ability to program a computer is one of the greatest economic capabilities today. Most of us in the computer industry have access to a capability that most people don't have. The ability to program a computer, for most of the people in India to write C++ or Python is unlikely. Anywhere in the world, in fact. However, for everyone in India to program an artificial intelligence, to tell the AI to do something on their behalf, 100%. I don't know one mother who doesn't tell their kids what to do. And now the AI is, to everybody, the same. And so, on the one hand, very few people can program a computer, but everyone can program an AI. What I'm saying is, for the very first time in history, the computer is an instrument for everybody, not just the people who are privileged or somehow were better educated or learned how to do that. And so I think the technology divide is likely to be reduced, likely to be eliminated. It is more likely that AI will elevate the capabilities of everyone than the top 1%. You know, most people thought initially that AI was going to threaten the jobs of blue collar, but it turns out it is likely to be much more challenging for the white collar. And the reason for that is because everyone is now elevated. Everybody can be, everyone can write software program now. You just have to tell an AI to write it for you. Yeah. And so I think I would recommend for everyone to engage AI, to take advantage of this capability. I use it every day, by the way. I have several AIs that I use as a tutor so that I can learn new things. And that reduces the barrier of learning for me. And I enjoy learning anyways. And even then, I enjoy the fact that AI can teach me things a lot faster than I otherwise could.
Can you talk a little bit about what are your favorite use cases in your own personal use?
Learning. I have lots and lots of questions for AI. And I like the fact that I could take a piece of information, let's say a research paper in PDF. I can load it into an AI, and the AI reads it for me. I can tell the AI how to summarize it for me and explain it to me. But the thing that's really, really quite extraordinary is, in addition to summarizing something complex, you can now talk to that AI. It's almost like talking to the researcher and talking to the teacher, whoever wrote the paper. And so you could take as many papers as you like, as many, whatever books you like, and you can load it into an AI, and that AI can summarize it to you, tell you a story if you like, read it, either read it for you if you like, but even describe it to you like a podcast if you like, and at the end of it, answer a whole bunch of questions.
Jensen Huang learns about AI from AI.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose then that's a very good way to
Yes,
do it.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, Jensen, I want to come to the question of acquisitions. You acquired Mellanox a few years ago, and equally, your attempted acquisition of ARM was stopped by regulators. How different a company is Nvidia today for the acquisition that you did make? And what kind of a company might Nvidia have been today had the ARM one gone through? Would you indulge us in this sort of hypothetical look back?
Well, I think first of all, our perspective about AI was very different than other companies. We observe that artificial intelligence is going to change the way computers were built. If you go back and think about the PC revolution, the idea of building a computer is building a CPU, you plug it into the computer, and now you have a computer. What we observed was that artificial intelligence is a large systems problem. The data set, the problem is so large that no one computer could possibly process the information or the neural network or the data of AI. And that it would essentially be a data center scale problem. We imagined that the computer would become a factory. 300 years ago, an instrument was created called a dynamo. And no one understood what it was. You put water into it, you light it on fire, and this amazing thing comes out of it called electricity. Nobody understood the impact of that machine for another 80 years until the AC version of it came, and the AC generator, the creation of Westinghouse and General Electric, and of course the modern industrial revolution. We imagined that the computer was going to change, that it wasn't going to be just our personal computer, but it was going to become a learning machine as well as an intelligence manufacturing system. And these manufacturing systems are going to be gigantic. And they're going to create value of extraordinary scale. And every country and every company would become an intelligence manufacturer. And every company would have AI factories. You would build cars on the one hand, the mechanical systems, and then you would manufacture cars, and you would manufacture the intelligence that goes into the cars. You would manufacture phones, and you would manufacture the intelligence that goes into the phones. And so we imagined this world where the manufacturing of intelligence was going to be extraordinary scale, and it would be a brand new industry. And so I'm telling you, kind of the imagination, the manifestation of what we now know to be Nvidia. And so when we imagine that, the most important thing is not just the GPUs or the CPUs, but the interconnection of all of it working together into a giant brain. And so I approached Mellanox, the world's leading high-performance networking company, to ask them if they would like to be part of our company. And at the time, initially, they weren't. But I told the CEO of Mellanox, E.O. Waldman, a really great man, I said, if your company is ever for sale, I will be the last and highest bidder. You come and tell me who the highest bidder is, and I will give you a higher price than that. Because your company is one of a kind, and there will never be another Mellanox. One day, he called me and said that the board has decided that we would put the company up for sale. And I said, fantastic. Shop it everywhere. When you get the highest price, call me on that day, and I will give you a higher price than that. And so one morning he called me. He called me the night before. He says, tomorrow morning I'm going to call you to tell you the highest price. And I said, fantastic. So he called me at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he told me a very high price. And I said to him, that's a shockingly high price. However, I will pay you more than that.
I'm a man of my words.
And Nvidia bought Mellanox, and it changed the world because a modern computer is not the CPU, not the GPU, not just the networking, but the holistic system and all the software that glues it together into this one giant brain, on the one hand, to learn and write code, but also a giant factory. And so that was our vision. I think in the case of ARM, our interest was much more protective, in the sense that we wanted to make sure that ARM was going to continue to build high-performance CPUs. Not just CPUs for phones, but CPUs for these AI supercomputers. And fortunately, they became very successful independently of us in the data center business. And so they have a natural reason to invest in high-performance CPUs, besides just us caring about it. You know, when I approached ARM to buy the company, we were practically the only company in the world that used ARM in data centers. But now, ARM in data centers is available at AWS, and there are many other companies working on it. And so I have a lot of confidence that between our needs and the natural needs of ARM in data centers and artificial intelligence, that they're going to continue to invest in building the CPU. So I'm very happy with how things turned out, and ARM is in great hands.
NVIDIA has a very unique, flat hierarchy, very founder-led, intense culture from everything we read about NVIDIA. So when you acquire a company and when other people come in, how easy or difficult is that integration into the culture?
Well, culture fit is it's very important in the companies you choose. Mellanox had 2,500 employees in Israel. Nvidia is now one of the largest technology companies in Israel. We have 4,000 people in Israel now. And the Israeli culture is very, very compatible with Nvidia's culture. You know, in a lot of ways, Nvidia's culture, the Indian culture, the Israeli culture, these are all cultures that are very modest, quite focused on family, community, and selfless, a sense of purpose. These are all words that are very consistent with the culture of our company, the culture of the people here in India, and the culture of Israel, and we really found it to be quite easy to get together. You know.
One question which is really, I was asked by a techie friend of mine, you're talking to Jensen, you have to ask him this. Within NVIDIA, are there frontier models and agents that your employees use? And is it really amazing and better than anything that is out there?
Chip design. You should apply, for all the companies that I talk to, they ask me, Jensen, what is where should we apply AI? You should apply AI on the single most important thing you do. And in our case, we develop technology. And so chip design, designing amazing chips is impossible today without AI. It allows us to explore a universe that is impossible to do in linear time. And so we have AIs that explore all the different various options of chips that, chip optimization in a way that we can do in a supercomputer that we can't possibly do otherwise. Drug discovery, same idea. Predicting weather, same idea. Figuring out what's the best supply chain optimization, same idea. We could use AI to explore this universe much, much more quickly than you possibly can. This is the same idea as AlphaGo, you know, using AI to achieve superhuman capabilities in playing Go, which is a very complicated game. They were able to explore, AlphaGo is able to explore a universe of moves that no human can possibly imagine. And so we use similar techniques in designing chips today, and look how it's worked out for us. Yeah. And so I'd recommend that every company figure out what is the single most impactful thing that you do and dedicate AI to go move that needle.
Wonderful. That's terrific advice. My last question to you before we then go on to take a few questions from our guests this evening. What has been your biggest takeaway from this trip to India?
Back office to front office. Back office to front office. An industry of cost reduction to an industry of innovation. An industry of labor to an industry of invention and deep tech. An industry that can only make money when you spend hours to an industry that can make money when you're sleeping. That's the industry that I'm certain India will become. And I came not expecting anything. But I leave with incredible enthusiasm and optimism that across the entire IT industry here, all of the technology companies here, the CEOs that I met here, the determination to reinvent the IT industry, to take advantage of this generational opportunity, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reinvent, to take advantage of that and translate to take advantage of the natural resource of this country, of this nation, and propel it forward. I'm super energized by it. Incredible.
That's remarkably well put. Thank you, Jensen. Shall we go on to now take a few questions from the audience? Sandeep from Visa, could we get a mic across to Sandeep, please? I like Sandeep's question because it kind of pushes back against the AI hype, as it were. I mean, yes, Sandeep.
Hi, Sandeep.
Hi, Jensen, and thanks for a fabulous talk. So question from me, when I interact with folks in the C-suite and global organizations, including my own, folks are super excited about the possibilities of AI. But looking at sort of how it's percolating in the organization, sort of beyond Copilot and, you know, some fraud risk modeling, and I obviously speaking for financial services, haven't really seen widespread adoption across the employee base. What do you think is inhibiting that? Or what do you think could be the inflection point for more widespread adoption by employees across organizations?
Let me translate your question in two ways. First, what's keeping AI from being integrated into or being used by the world's companies? That first question of yours. Well, first of all, remember, companies don't have computer science. Most of the world's companies are healthcare companies or financial service companies, or their IT, their computer science is India. their computer workforce, their IT workforce is India. And so in a lot of ways, Nvidia in India we have to package up AI in such a way that we can help every single company in the world to do it. And so if you were to ask me what's holding back the world's companies from taking advantage of AI, and what are they all waiting for? They're waiting for you, which is your great opportunity. And you've been doing IT for the world's companies in the back office. Now we have to do AI for the front office. And so let's get going. Let's do this. This is a great opportunity.
We have a question from Paul from DDN here. Could we get a mic across to Paul, please?
Hey, Jensen.
Hi, Paul.
Good to see you. So
Congratulations on all your success.
thank you. I think it's connected.
AI needs data.
That was my
AI
question.
needs
You're
data.
prompting my question. See, this is prompt engineering, right?
Yeah.
It's already
AI
done
needs data, and so we need fast DDNs.
Thank you, Jen. So actually, you're prompting my question. So how important is a data intelligence and storage platform to provide the right efficiencies to NVIDIA GPU networking, NIMs, and other technologies, right? So that you are producing global intelligence, you are producing accelerated training and inference.
The world is producing twice as much data every year as it used to. And it's going to, in fact, my prediction is it's going to accelerate with AI. The more we digitalize the world, the more data or digital experience the AIs will produce. And that data will then become the fuel for even smarter intelligence. That flywheel is about to accelerate. Of course, we're going to build faster and faster and faster brains, faster and faster computers. But those faster computers can only learn if the storage system, the DDNs that you create, are able to provide fuel for that brain. And so I think this flywheel is about to go into turbocharge very soon. And the work that you do is really quite vital in the work that we do. So I really appreciate that.
I think with that, we will sort of end the on-stage interaction. I think Jensen will spend some time with us, and hopefully you'll get to sort of chat with him in person. But what a remarkable conversation this has been. You've been absolutely kind with your time, supremely articulate, a real wealth of thoughts. Thank you so much, Jensen.
And thank you all very much. If I could leave you with this one thing, first of all, we are so appreciative of India. Without India, a third of NVIDIA's employees would not be possible. And NVIDIA's employees are so vital to everything that we do. And so India is central to everything NVIDIA. And I want to thank all of you for your support and your friendship. Thank you.
To the messiah of AI, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Thank you, Jensen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, good job.
Amazing job.
Thank you.